Gotta wake up Labor Day to this. Being rich shamed by some prick using my name for clickbait in a state of bliss.
Mr. Rules here is a member of a group here on YouTube that, as I have said in previous videos, sees religion through this common anti-religious narrative popularized by famous anti-theists like Richard Dawkins, Sam Harris, Matt Dillahunty. They have a belief system that assumes religion is some kind of mind virus, some kind of parasite feeding off of society, turning what would be rational, scientifically minded people into inept, superstitious losers.
Adam Friended, otherwise known as Think Club and Friended Forever, is a content creator who once spent a fair amount of his time misrepresenting anti-theists, but these days does the same and adds dramatic clips and thumbnails of Jordan Peterson. Because, you know, Jordan sells and Adam doesn't. In fact, Think Club, which is by far his most popular channel, is a Jordan Peterson safe space.
It's a joke! Tell your face.
Now, I actually want to begin by saying, with all sincerity, two things. The first is that if any of you believe that any of my critiques of Jordan are unfair or erroneous, then please don't hesitate to let me and my audience know. Contrary to some of the comments on Adam's videos, I have never deleted a single comment on my channel. Not once, ever. And secondly, know that this video isn't a response to Jordan, who, as I've said many times before, I respect. Nor is it a response to Jordan's fans, who, again, I respect. It's a response to Adam Friended, who is a self-professed troll who's misleading legitimate Jordan Peterson fans. Now, as of this day, Adam's made 3 videos in which he's destroyed me, a so-called Jordan Peterson hater, and a fair few of you have asked me to respond. Well, you asketh, and now you receiveth. This is a Jordan Peterson disciple destroyed. So let's get straight into the thick of it by watching the intro to Adam's most recent response to me, in which he accuses me of post hoc reasoning.
The only thing that's wrong with religion is the dogmatism.
You know, there's this great quote from Steven Weinberg, that being, with or without religion, you would have good people doing good things and bad people doing bad things. But if you want a good person to do a bad thing, that takes religion.
Hey everybody, I'm Adam, and this is Think Club. I very much despise post hoc reasoning. Post hoc reasoning is when you believe something, say that the world would be a better place without religion, and then you proceed to evaluate all evidence in a manner of, does it prove this thing that I want to believe? Or does it disprove this thing I want to believe? And then you summarily dismiss everything that disproves the thing that you so badly want to believe, and you elevate the evidence that proves this thing. Or you, even worse yet, you look at evidence that could possibly disprove what you want to believe, but you twist that evidence around so it completely proves what you want to believe.
Now, Adam gets to his actual criticism in just a second, but I already need to correct him. What he just described is not post hoc reasoning, it's confirmation bias. Post hoc reasoning is actually a form of false cause fallacy, and it occurs when someone erroneously assumes that because one event happened after another, the first event was the cause of the second. This is a side note, of course, but it's absolutely worth correcting. Anyhow, here's Adam's criticism.
Now, I have a clip here from Rationality Rules' latest video where he is evaluating the first debate between Jordan Peterson and Sam Harris in Vancouver. And he throws out this bumper sticker, this anti-theist bumper sticker, as if he's adding some deep philosophical understanding to the argument that Sam Harris is making, when all he is doing is post hoc reasoning his way to the conclusion that he wants to reach, that religion is terrible, that religion turns people into monsters. And without religion, people would just be great. They would be totally amazing people.
Did you catch that? You know, the abysmal straw man of me. I thought you would, and you're not alone. Many people have, such as Bridges on Bikes, who wrote, "You straw man RR right off the bat so poorly that your straw man..."
Without religion, people would just be great. They would be totally amazing people.
Is literally refuted in the first sentence of the quote you displayed. Indeed, there's a reason that Weinberg said with or without Adam. It's not like he was, or I am for that matter, so naive as to think that
Without religion, people would just be great. They would be totally amazing people.
Now, funny enough, I actually anticipated someone misrepresenting me, call it clairvoyance, and so I deliberately included additional words. Words that, interestingly, Adam left out. You know, there's this great quote from Steven Weinberg, that being, with or without religion, you would have good people doing good things and bad people doing bad things, but if you want a good person to do a bad thing, that takes religion. And I think that's pretty much what Sam was conveying here. It's an imperfect but very important point, and it can't just be hand-waved away. All of us unfortunately know an otherwise wonderful person who, because of religion, dislikes homosexuals, don't we? Now there are plenty more assertions, conflations, and accusations within this video that I could respond to, but as another commenter observed, Adam didn't really respond to anything I said. The clip of me he played near the start had nothing to do with what he spoke about for the rest of the video. He strawmanned me and then burnt it to the ground with irrelevant, pretentious rhetoric, numerous fake laughs, and a lengthy quote from Jonathan Haidt. Okay, with that buried, let's move on to another of Adam's videos, this time his first, in which he post-hocs my criticism of Jordan defining any and all action as religious. Oh, sorry, not post-hocs, I mean strawmans.
Yeah, me.
This is Everyone is Religious, debunked.
But not really. So I love how these people are just totally triggered over Jordan Peterson.
So, to be clear, the crux of my criticism was not that Jordan had created a new definition of religion. Rather, it was that he was equivocating it with a colloquial definition in order to evade legitimate criticisms of religion. And to prove it, here's me saying as much. But to be clear, let me repeat what I've said in regards to Jordan redefining other words. There's nothing inherently wrong with him creating a new definition of religion, but what is wrong is how he uses it. So both of these arguments are flawed for exactly the same reason. They either commit an equivocation fallacy by using one definition of their keyword during their first premise and conclusion, and a completely made up and useless definition during their second premise, and are thus invalid, or they use a nonsensical definition throughout, which, while valid, in the context of their conversation only serves to confuse and obfuscate the underlying question. Now I have to preface this because Adam didn't. Instead, he made out that my criticism was simply that Jordan was using a non-colloquial definition of religion, and he then brought up Emil Durkheim's definition of religion, conflated it with Jordan's, despite the fact that the two are significantly different, and then concluded by attacking anti-theism. And the reason he can say that everyone is religious
You can't be a non-believer in your action.
is because he's created a new definition of religion that's somehow more vague than the already useless, a pursuit or interest followed with great devotion.
Says the guy who is pursuing the interest of atheist activism with great devotion. I just assume that Jordan Peterson was using the Durkheimian definition of religious psychology. Now, maybe I've never had a problem with this idea that Peterson puts forward because, I've studied sociology, and Dr. Peterson's definition of religious systems as what you act out is so close to the definition of religion put forward by the father of modern social science, the French sociologist Emile Durkheim, that I just assumed this was the definition that he was using.
Now, what I find to be extremely telling here is that despite the fact that I made crystal clear that I have no problem with Jordan's definition in and of itself, there's nothing inherently wrong with him creating a new definition of religion, but what is wrong is how he uses it. Adam still treated me as if I do. And so, again, Adam didn't address my criticism at all. Instead, he, again, strawmanned me and then burnt it to the ground with irrelevant, pretentious rhetoric, numerous fake laughs, and several misrepresentations of anti-theism.
So this idea that factual scientific truth is more valuable than inherited wisdom or tradition, or what they would call dogma, is the axiom that is at the base of the anti-theist belief system.
There's a trend here, isn't there? In fact, do you know what? Let's have some fun. I'm going to christen this the Adam-friended formula, and here's how it works. Step 1. Find a video in which someone isn't deep-throating Jordan Peterson. Step 2. Quote mine the author. And, of course, be sure to discard any references or examples that they give. Step 3. Find as relevant a clip from Jordan or Jonathan Haidt as you can, and if you can't, don't worry, just include one anyway. Step 4. Accuse the author of all the disingenuous tactics that you're currently employing.
I very much despise post hoc reasoning.
Step 5. Add obviously fake and pretentious laughs. And finally, step 6. Make sure that Jordan is in the thumbnail and that he's shooting lasers from his eyes. Yeah, Adam, jokes aside, you should take some advice from Jordan and try still manning your opponents. You seriously need to clean your room, bucko.
See, one of the things that Carl Rogers said, the psychologist, was that a good way to have a discussion with someone is to tell them what you think they think until they think that what you said reflects what they said.
And finally, let's move on to Adam's third video, in which he accuses me of deliberately misrepresenting Jordan's definition of truth.
If you understand Jordan Peterson's argument, you know immediately that these statements are false, that he is misrepresenting Jordan Peterson's idea of truth.
Peterson is asserting that because we can only perceive objective facts subjectively, there are no objective facts. But that's not how it works, and it's not what all of the evidence indicates.
So this is very far from what Jordan Peterson is asserting. Jordan Peterson is asserting that there are infinite number of facts and that those facts need to be hierarchically ordered. And we do this all the time. If we are against a particular political position, we order the facts that support our position above the facts that disconfirm our position. It's the exact same thing that Rationality Rules is doing in this video. Jordan Peterson believes in objective facts. Jordan Peterson is a scientist. Reality alert. Jordan Peterson was a professor at Harvard, okay? He believes in facts. This assertion that Rationality Rules makes is bonkers. Jordan Peterson believes in objective facts. He says that the way you order those objective facts is subjective, which, newsflash, it is.
Now, to be fair, in my original video, I should have explained that by saying Peterson is asserting that because we can only perceive objective facts subjectively, there are no objective facts. What I was driving at is that by asserting that scientific realist truth is nested within, subordinate to, or contingent upon Darwinian truth, Jordan is, by extension, necessarily asserting that literal truth does not exist without Darwinian truth, since he insists that literal truth is entirely predicated upon Darwinian truth. And so, what I'm saying here is that I'm largely responsible for this confusion. Sorry. However, with that said, Jordan did assert that Darwinian truth supersedes literal truth in regards to truth claim, not just that it supersedes in regards to what we should care about, and I gave ample examples in my video, all of which, by the way, didn't make it into Adam's response. And so, for what it's worth, here's a few of them and a few extra, because why not?
The fundamentals of truth are those that guide action, and then the objective science is nested inside that. The ethical pursuit supersedes the scientific pursuit with regards to truth claim.
If somebody writes down a 100-digit number in front of you and it ends in a 1, and they say this number is prime, and what is more, it's the largest prime number any human being has ever consciously beheld, right? That is either true or false, and its truth or falsity has absolutely nothing to do with the ultimate survival of the species or your personal well-being.
I know, that's what you think. I understand that perfectly well, but I don't agree.
But your non-agreement hasn't...
I would say it's sufficiently true for all likely contexts that are to arise in the next while. The claim I'm making is that scientific truth is nested inside moral truth, and moral truth is the final adjudicator. And your claim is no, moral truth is nested inside scientific truth, and scientific truth is the final adjudicator.
And for a cherry on top, here's just one more example.
I think you're simply deciding at the end of the day to say that any truths that led us down a path where we suffered unnecessarily or died weren't true.
Right. You have to choose what you mean by true. You have to. And I'm not accepting the same definition of truth that you operate under, and it's partly because I believe that Darwin trumps realism, let's say. I believe that pragmatism trumps realism.
You see, when Jordan says,
I'm not accepting the same definition of truth that you operate under,
and then declares that,
I believe that pragmatism trumps realism.
he is not merely saying that
The way you order those objective facts is subjective.
As already said, realism is the position that facts exist independent of our perception. It's got nothing to do with how we order facts, while pragmatism, or in this case more accurately Jordan's Darwinian truth, is the position that
if it doesn't serve life, it's not true.
And so, I wasn't contending the assertion that
The way you order those objective facts is subjective.
I was contending the assertion that
Pragmatism trumps realism.
my central thrust was simply that Peterson's truth
doesn't supersede with respect to the truth claim, it supersedes with respect to considerations of behavior and policy.
I'll say that again. My central thrust was simply that Peterson's truth
Doesn't supersede with respect to the truth claim, it supersedes with respect to considerations of behavior and policy.
Now, I grant that this topic is confusing, and that I should have done a better job of expressing my objection, but Adam really didn't address my concern at all. Instead, he applied the Adam-friended formula, but this time quote-mined Jordan as to strengthen his actual position. To conclude, I'm more than happy to engage with critics of my content, time permitting, of course, but Adam does not strike me as earnest. He strikes me as a troll. He's misrepresented countless people, especially anti-theists, conflated their views with nonsense, and worst of all, he's provided sincere Jordan Peterson fans with pig shit for ammunition.
I am here because I am interested in these arguments. I am genuinely interested in what Jordan Peterson has to say, and I'm curious if he's right about his argument.
I'm honestly not convinced, Adam.
Our order does not deal in pig shit.
Anyhow, I'm Steve Woodford, or Rationality Rules, and as always, thank you kindly for the view, and an extra special thank you to my wonderful patrons and those of you who have donated via PayPal.